It's time for Twig. This week in Google, Paris Martineau is here. Jeff Jarvis is here. We're going to talk about so many things. Of course, we've got a big AI segment. Sarah Silverman wins some and loses some in court. Mark Zuckerberg says the Quest is a better product than the Vision Pro, period. And a crowd destroys a driverless car in San Francisco. What's going on with all the anger, all that, and a whole lot more coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love
from people you trust.
This is Twig.
This is Twig. This week in Google, episode 755, recorded Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. Beat it for 15 minutes. This week in Google is brought to you by Melissa, the data quality experts. All data expires. In fact, as much as 25% a year. For over 38 years, Melissa has helped companies harness the value of their customer data to drive insight, maintain data quality, and support global intelligence. Melissa's flexible. It'll fit into any business model. Whether it's on-prem, in the cloud, a SaaS application, an API, Melissa verifies addresses for more than 240 countries to ensure only valid billing and shipping addresses enter your system. Focus your spending where it matters most. Melissa offers free trials, sample codes, and flexible pricing, and an ROI guarantee, plus unlimited technical support to customers all around the world. In fact, you can even try the free Melissa Lookups app on Google Play or the App Store. No sign-up required. Melissa has achieved the highest level of security status available by gaining FedRAMP authorization. Melissa's solutions and services are GDPR and CCPA compliant and meet SOC 2 and HIPAA high trust standards for information security management. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free at melissa.com/twit. That's melissa.com/twit. It's time for Twig This Week at Google, the show where we talk about everything, including Google this week. Paris Martineau is here from The Information. Hello, Paris. Bonjour. Comment ça va? It's very nice to see you and your giant monstera plant taking over.
Slowly
but surely. It snowed, didn't it?
It did.
Nice.
I was expecting it to stay for longer, but it didn't. Allegedly, many people are saying that it's stuck in New Jersey, but I'm not sure if anyone
Do you still have it
can truly confirm
in New
or deny
Jersey,
that.
Jeff Jarvis?
I do. Oh, yeah, but we got about 5 inches. Yeah. Come to the suburbs, Paris. Come to the suburbs. You'll get snow.
Oh, I don't know.
Call it the Garden State for nothing. Jeff Jarvis is for the nonce, the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York.
Good, Paris. We're doing a duet now. I like this. This is like TikTok. Yes, this is very good.
You may wonder why I'm holding a box cutter in my hands.
No. He's angry. He came out angry off Windows Weekly. Take that away from him.
Yeah. Somebody
Take that away from him, Benito.
No, I'm just going to take it out on a box because I have a rather large box which came to my home a few days ago. What? Don't use that. Don't use the knife. This one has 2 blades. It's very confusing. I'm a lefty, which also helps. This is...
It looks like it has no blades from the camera, but I'm sure that there's a blade somewhere.
You know what it does have, though? It has my face on it. It is a Leo Laporte approved.
Oh, great.
We thought maybe that would get us.
When I get arrested going through airport security with it, then...
But it's from Leo. No, this is something we've been talking about
This is about
more than a year.
20 layers here.
Is it? It's a lot to open?
Oh, yeah. This is anal retentive packaging.
Here's one.
Lots of those.
This is like
lots of foam.
This is like Minecraft.
Have a whole ball pit.
This is the book that our friend Glenn Fleischman has been working on for, gosh, how long, along with Martian Witchery. It's actually Martian's
Well, it's Martian's book. Yeah.
Glenn helped him in the production.
Glenn edited it, produced it.
It's a good thing, too, because this turned out to be a rather big project.
Looks heavy.
Oh, it's very heavy.
Well, I think it migrated from 1 volume to 2 volumes.
Yes.
Because that is it. Actually, it's 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Holy cow. I am so excited about this. You have had it for a while, right?
I've got to dig in and read it because I'm actually going to read it for research. But if you pull up the first volume, just start reading the first page. Not that one.
Not this one. That's the extras.
What is that?
That's I forget what that is.
Stuff left over on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
The thing is
I
beautiful.
love a good 2.5 books.
It's beautiful.
Yes. It's like the Encyclopedia Britannica. Remember, you'd buy that in 1971, and then every year they'd give you a book with all the stuff that has changed.
Because Paris, they kept on outdoing their Patreon numbers, so they had to come up with more things to do for a stretch.
These are stretch goals, and it's really a beautiful book. Gosh, they've done.
So if you go to the very first page,
yeah,
I thought this is going to be geeky and nerdy as hell. It captured me immediately.
No tocar si us plow. Don't touch.
He's in.
Huh?
Well, if you read it there, it'll tell you.
What do you find? Keyboards. This was a sign in a store.
Yes.
Please don't touch. But what language is that? Catalan or something?
I think it might be. So he discovers that there is. Then there's the roadside. He discovers that there's a museum nearby, and goes to it, and it starts this whole journey.
Oh, the museum.
And
Museo
it's
de la Tecnica. Oh, this might be Portugal.
Yeah.
Look at that.
What a beautiful book.
I'll never forget
amazing.
going to see you for the first time, Jeff, at CUNY, and all the typewriters in the lobby.
That's
of
right.
The journalism
That's right.
school.
We had a big, and I have my linotype keyboard in the garage right now.
So I don't know if they're still selling these. I think the last
have
time
a few left.
Yeah, Glenn was on.
We're not going to print
when
anymore.
he said that they printed extra in case of returns and damage, and so they have extras. So shift.happens if it happens that you can get it.
I can't wait to dig in.
It's such a beautiful production. Well done, Glenn. Well done.
And well done, Merchant.
Yeah, and Marchant. I got to remember that's Marchant's book. Glenn just showed up at the end to take all the credit.
Very much a joint operation, I think, by the end.
Yeah, they went to the printers together and everything. All right. We are now in the Gemini era, as predicted. Don't call it Bard anymore.
And it's Gemini Ultra, right? The Uber Gemini is now out. Is that the one we've been waiting for?
Yeah.
Gemini than before.
Godot we've been waiting for?
It's more Gemini than ever. I don't know. I have it on because I subscribe to Perplexity, which gives you a choice of models. One of them is Gemini.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Interesting.
So, where do I?
Which one do you use typically?
I think ChatGPT 4 is kind of the best, to be honest.
But have you tried?
Let me go to my settings and I'll show you.
The new one, though.
No, in fact, let me try. Let's do it. That's why I'm pulling it up. AI model is default, optimized for fast search by Perplexity, experimental.
Oh, that's Gemini Pro, Leo. That's behind.
Oh, it's Gemini Pro,
Gemini
not Ultra. Well, let's just.
Yeah.
Shall I just play with it a little? No, I don't care.
No, go to Ultra. Go to Ultra.
Well, can I do that on
go
the?
To Gemini
Ultra.
Ultra.
Not here. You got to go to. You got to go to Gemini.
Ultragemini.google.io or something like that.
Is that what it is? No,
I don't know. Try Ultra 1.0.
I can tell you from the rundown for the AI show. Gemini.google.com.
Oh, I have to pay for it.
Well, not 2 months free.
No, Ultra. Oh, but you get 2 months free. Okay. I'm already paying $20 a month. It's funny that they've settled on this price for both ChatGPT from OpenAI and for Perplexity. Actually, Microsoft Copilot is $30 a month if you're using the Pro version. But I have a Microsoft 365 account, so I think I have the basic version.
Oh,
I have way too much AI.
The free, free
is just Pro. It's the one I'm using.
It's just Pro.
Yeah.
So you got to pay now for Gemini Advanced.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have it?
No.
You get access to Gemini in Gmail
unemployed,
Docs.
Leo.
He's deorbited.
He's deorbited. I'm deorbiting against my will. I'm deorbiting.
Price of subscriptions and deorbit.
2 terabytes storage and other benefits from Google One. Oh, wait a minute. I have Google One, but it doesn't know. Oh, you will. This is a future you'll, I guess. Available soon from Google One. So if you have Google One, I guess you'll get this at some point too. But
which, the Pro or Advanced?
It looks like Ultra Advanced.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Or whatever they're calling
it's
it
unclear.
today.
Quick question. This is Benito, by the way.
Hi, Benito.
Does anybody know about Google Ultra? That old story about that IT? Is that based? Is this a play on that? You know?
Say it again.
Has anybody heard of that? It was like a 4chan
You mean
story.
MK Ultra? You're talking about?
No. Google Ultra. I don't know if anybody's ever heard this story.
I've never heard of Google Ultra. Where?
No.
Let me ask
you
Gemini.
think you're talking about Google Ultron?
No, the one about
according to Reddit, Out of the Loop, it was the name for a
Gemini.
Chrome that an IT guy on 4chan came up with.
Yes, it's a hilarious story if anybody's
an IT guy uploads Google Ultron, same as Chrome, on someone's computer to get him off his back, and then it spreads around the office. Oh, this is like a copy pasta where somebody's asking for the newest version of Google, so the IT guy makes a fake one, Google Ultron.
No, it's a whole story, actually. There's like a whole thread of a story of this thing, and it's I think this is like a play on that.
Oh, that's funny. Maybe. I was thinking MK Ultra. You know what MK Ultra is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I was thought. It's the illegal human experimentation program from the CIA, where they gave people LSD. It actually, I think it was why LSD became popular in the 60s is because people like Timothy Leary and Richard Alpert got exposed to it through MK Ultra, and then say, hey, this stuff is really good stuff. And brought it back to Harvard. According to the Church Committee in 1976, the MK Delta program, drugs were used primarily as an aid to interrogations, but MK Ultra materials are also used for harassment, discrediting, or disabling people. Wow. The CIA, this is a good one. I don't think Google's referring to this. The CIA was interested in bird migration patterns for chemical and biological warfare research. They wanted to see if they could use birds to distribute LSD. Okay.
I love it when the birds come with LSD.
At the invitation of Stanford psychology graduate student Vic Lovell, an acquaintance of Richard Alpert, Allen Ginsberg, and Ken Kesey, volunteered to take part in a CIA-financed study, MK Ultra, at Menlo Park's Veterans Hospital.
This alone is a drug-induced hallucination we're going through right now, folks.
I feel like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Hallucination, it turns out, is actually a very good word for Bard Ultra. Well, we're already in the AI segment. Might as well do it.
Yep.
All right. NVIDIA is in a kind of a convenient calling for sovereign AI. This is Jensen Huang, the CEO, says and I don't think he's wrong here. He was talking in a discussion with the UAE's Minister of AI. Now, see, there you go. The United Arab Emirates is really on top of things. They have a Minister of AI, Omar.
That could be your next career, Leo. You could be the Minister.
I would like to be the Minister of AI.
Yeah, you could pivot to going to the UAE, where people really understand the issues
they appreciate what we're up to. Omar, is it Al-Olama or AI-Olama? You know, it could be either.
Great question.
During the World Government Summit in Dubai on Monday, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, said, every country should control its own AI infrastructure so it can protect its culture. He calls it sovereign AI. That's not necessarily a bad idea. I mean, otherwise it becomes kind of another one of those U.S. imposed.
Well, what does it mean to control the infrastructure?
Well, language is one, right? So...
Yeah, but you don't need to control the infrastructure for that. You can have your own models you run on your own machines.
Well, that's kind of what he means. You should have your own models. And the reason I said it's self-serving is because NVIDIA wants to sell NVIDIA GPUs to every country in the world.
All around the world.
Yeah. So you really do need your own infrastructure. But I don't think Jensen's wrong. He says AI codifies your culture, your society's intelligence, your common sense, your history. You own your own data. We completely subscribe to that vision, says AI-Olama. That's why the UAE is moving aggressively on creating large language models and mobilizing compute. Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like they went on to say, the first thing I would do, of course, is codify the language, the data of your culture into your own large language model. that's what he would do if he was the leader of a developing nation.
Yeah. But I agree with
So, I mean, I
don't you
guess
agree?
that's something I don't think that if I was the leader of a developing nation, my first priority would not be to codify the language and data of my culture into a large language model. I think my first priorities would be leading the developing nation.
Well, that's true. And just,
Well, let's not just say developing. So on AI inside,
and UAE is far from a developing nation. They have a lot.
That's true. They got money galore.
Wealthy. That's Dubai, which doesn't have any oil, ironically, but their sister emirate also has quite a bit of oil in Abu Dhabi. They have money.
So Paris, Norway is doing just that. Jason and I interviewed Sven Stormer Torlau, who is the chief data officer at Schibsted, and the country is ganging together, is joining together because they believe it's a national good to have a Norwegian language AI model. And so they're contributing their content to the training process rather than fighting over it the way we do here.
That's interesting.
And they'll figure out what the commercial model is later. But right now they're trying to show how it works. And they're almost all the digital publishers, as far as I know, are putting their stuff in. And the country is even looking and saying, if the books, 90% of the books in Norway have been digitized, if that's useful to make a better model, if you can prove that in your research, then the government might consider paying for that.
Did we not learn with the internet? I mean, in the first decades of the internet, it quickly became an English language thing. I mean, now it's become much more international. I don't think that's a problem anymore. But I think maybe that's the thing that they're worried about is you don't want, it's funny because the movie industry came out of Hollywood and very much spread American culture. But now there's Bollywood, there's movie industries all over the world reflecting their own cultures accurately. International movies are a big deal. So maybe it's nothing to worry about. Maybe the time will come when AI will just be an international thing.
So the last column I wrote at Time Inc. when I was the editor of Entertainment Weekly, for that brief moment in time, I praised Canada's national content model.
The CRTC says you have to have a certain amount of Canadian content in all your
The executives at Time Inc. went ballistic on me. How could I say that working at Time Warner? You fool, you little schmuck. And the column didn't run. That's the last time I tried to write a column there.
Wow, you're resisting our efforts to co-opt Canadian culture.
World domination.
I mean, of course, it's a little self-serving for Jensen, but at the same time, also, I think it's a good point to be made. I mean, AI shouldn't be American, right, or European. No. It should reflect the cultures it's in.
Well, this is part of the open source debate as well, because if you have open source, if Europe outlaws open source models, it's going to be regulatory capture of the yin yang,
right? And
so you can build on top of things. And there's a French open source model is what Schibsted is using.
Oh, interesting.
And NVIDIA now has Sam Altman breathing down their necks, getting $7 trillion to build a competitor. Have you seen that?
Wow, no. That's interesting.
So Altman is out there trying to raise $7 trillion.
Is that the WorldCoin thing?
Just some
related
walking,
to that?
No, I think
around
it's just
money.
chips.
It's just chips.
I'd invest $1 trillion, but now that I'm unemployed, I kind of need my last trillion. So.
That's true. I mean, you've got to be conservative with your trillions.
$1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. It adds up. Sarah Silverman, well, it's a mixed bag. She a lot of her contentions in her lawsuit against OpenAI were thrown out.
All but one, yes.
But the most important one, the copyright part, was upheld. The judge said, yeah, you can go forward.
Which OpenAI won this in the sense that they didn't ask for that primary claim to be dismissed. They asked for all the others to be dismissed, and the judge agreed and dismissed all the others. But I think that they want the court to start ruling on whether AI can read and learn.
Judge Martinez Olguin threw out portions of the complaint from Silverman's legal team on Monday, including negligence, unjust enrichment, DMCA violations, and accusations of vicarious infringement. I'm big into that myself, but okay. But the primary claim, which is that OpenAI directly infringed on copyrighted material by training LLMs on millions of books, including Silverman's own, without permission. You want the court to resolve this, don't you? You don't want this just to be floating around while I say.
Yeah, you do. The interesting thing to me, though, is the question to me, I think that the question is how you acquire the book. If you acquire the book illegally, that's the act that you go after. You stole a copy of the book. But if you acquired it, or a newspaper subscription or a magazine subscription or whatever, you should have the right to use it to train your model.
We're having a very brisk discussion right now in our Twit forums, the Twit community forums, about this very subject, because Kathy Gellis, who was on Twit on Sunday, talked again, as she had on our show, about the right to read and the First Amendment right to read. And a number of people in our forums have said, well, but a machine is not the same as a human.
And I think that's a really good point.
But the company that owns it should have the same right. That's right. I
think that is the sort of logic that gets us. Corporations have a right to, religious matters. That gets us the Hobby Lobby decision. I don't think that we should be
United.
Codifying
Citizens United.
The personhood of corporations in this.
Well, okay, Paris, good point, and Citizens United. But does the New York Times and the journalists on it, does the information have a right to read others' work, learn from it?
I think the LLC, no. I think
the people who work for it,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, but
I think that there's a difference, which is, OpenAI, the company, does not have the same right that Joe Schmo, a person who works at OpenAI, does.
Well, but Paris, if you screw up here and you go filching Business Insider's content because it's so valuable, they're not going to sue you. They're going to sue the company. They're going to sue the information.com.
I would definitely be a plaintiff in that lawsuit, I feel like, but
you're not worth it, Paris. You don't have trillions.
This is such a hard one because
like
I respect content creators. I are one. I'm not a writer, obviously, but I are a content creator. And so I respect the work that you do, Paris, and Jeff, the work that you do. And I understand why artists would be upset that. But their work isn't getting stolen wholesale. I mean, that was one of the things that New York Times asserted, which is, well, you could read the Times in ChatGPT, but I don't think any serious person thinks that's true. If that were, that would be another matter.
That would be an issue. I agree.
But there's no loss of revenue to the New York Times because ChatGPT is ingested its content.
If they manage to get around something and got the information's content without paying the information for a subscription.
Yeah, but that's one subscription.
But that's all you need, one subscription, though.
Yeah. So I use
welcome to the digital world.
The browser company of New York, Arc, has a browser for Mac, but they also have a browser on the iPhone. That's kind of an interesting browser. It's an AI assisted browser. Give me, Paris, what's a recent information exclusive, maybe one you worked on that I could query it about? Because let's see if I can ask it about something exclusive to the
and let's look on our website right now.
You guys have a lot of exclusives because you have such great reporters.
I guess,
like, this Paris
one
Martineau.
That's
OpenAI
develops web search product in challenge to Google. So you could look up OpenAI
develops
product.
web search project in challenge to Google. Now, I did it wrong. Let me do this. Let me do it again, because that's a plain old search. But what you're most likely want to do, let's do a new one. I have the iPhone app. That's
true.
That's what I'm using. I don't understand.
I am.
Oh, it's now doing Perplexity. No, I don't want Perplexity.
You're opening up Perplexity.
Yeah, I want Arc.
Yeah.
So let me go back to Arc and query it. So you can use it as a browser, but what I want to do is a query. What was it again?
How about OpenAI web search app?
OpenAI web search app. Now I can search it like a normal Google search, but there's also this browse for me button. And this is the thing that's somewhat controversial lately, because what it does is, see this, it says reading 6 web pages, the information and others. And then this is the summary, I don't go to those sites. I think this is, from the information. It even says that. Yeah. So there's a summary of stuff from that exclusive. Now, it does say from the information. The first sentence
there is directly lifted from the information.
OpenAI has been developing a web search product to compete with Google.
Call up the information report.
Oh, look at this. If I expand it, there it is. There's a sentence. So is this a snippet, or is this more, or is this worse than a snippet?
Well, there is no definition of a snippet or fair use.
But what this feels like to me, and what a lot of people are complaining about, is what they've created is a tool that will keep people from going to the information. That I will get what I wanted from this. It's basically a knowledge graph, a Google-style knowledge graph. I use it all the time, and I have to admit, I very rarely have to go to the website.
Paris, what were you going to be if you weren't going to be a journalist?
It's a great question.
Because maybe
you want to be thinking about that backup now.
maybe I don't want to go to law school after all.
I don't know. You don't want to go to law school. I don't know any happy lawyers.
I don't want to go to law school.
The happiest lawyers I know are all former lawyers.
Yeah.
It's an interesting...
They can argue with you about anything, but they don't have to suffer.
I feel like I feel like I have a foot in both camps. I as a creator, I understand how creators they're hurt. I don't know if it hurts them economically. Maybe it does. This ARC search definitely would hurt the information. If I were Jessica or Paris, I might be upset about that. On the other hand, as you know, as an AI accelerationist and maybe an AI himself, I think AI should be trained on every possible bit of information in the human experience because it'll make them useful. I don't know what the answer is.
What are we going to do if corporations aren't able to make incredibly useful tools for free?
Well, Cory Doctorow would say he's
slurping up the labor of others.
It's really,
what are we going to do without that?
Cory Doctorow would say that's already been done, Paris. The corporation, the information has slurped up your information and paid you a pittance for it, or some agreed upon sum. But really, that copyrights are a fight between businesses, the businesses that own the copyrights and the other businesses that want to use the copyrighted material. That's why he's not. He doesn't. He makes himself a non-combatant in this, even as a writer, because he says the copyright doesn't protect us. Copyright protects the businesses that own the copyrights,
which is the history of copyright. Absolutely, the very, very beginning. So I think I might have mentioned last week, I've been commissioned by the California Chamber to write a paper about CJPA, the California Journalism Protection Act, and so I've been digging into the history here, and the history of radio and newspapers is just fascinating. Because radio at first thought, oh, that's cute. And then they realized, oh, hell. And so they passed all kinds of resolutions. I love this one. Whereas this has a tendency to destroy the surprise value of the news, divert the attention of readers, and induce less public interest in the news content of newspapers. And they went completely batshit on radio. And they tried to stop radio from having any news. They tried to hold them up as to whether or not newspapers would print radio listings until readers complained. They basically pushed for the regulation of radio and the slice out of the First Amendment that is the FCC. Newspapers did all of that. Then newspapers fought television, and then newspapers fought the R box getting to do information services, and now newspapers fight the internet. The difference in part was what happened. There was this Biltmore agreement that had all these problems on radio where they couldn't do all this stuff. It went away because 200 of the 700 radio stations at the time were owned by newspapers. So once newspapers had a financial interest in the success of radio, then all the complaints about radio just disappeared.
As a historian of media, Jeff, going back to this guy named Gutenberg, does it seem to be always the case that the old media fights the new media, but it eventually gives in, and that's human progress, that ultimately whatever the new thing is the next thing? It's got to be allowed to succeed.
Even if we don't give it the value judgment of progress, yes.
I mean,
at some point, it's
inevitable.
Yeah.
It's an inevitability.
Yeah, I think it is.
But
go ahead,
an aside
Paris.
for this is, I think it would be inaccurate to call ChatGPT and large language models new media in the sense these are tools that are being used by a select, portion of the population, but it's different than a new media format and a media industry that employs people and is adding value. I mean, Leo, you're part of this era of media. Right now, what we're doing is what Jeff was describing with like radio. We are commentating on established news stories and things like that. That is a value add in some way.
That's not what newspapers thought. They said that was filching. In fact, in the agreement, they required that commentators were not allowed to talk about news until 12 hours after it occurred for just that reason.
Yeah, we're doing what radio did. Exactly what radio did.
So Paris, the question is, is there a value add here? We're not reporting. You report. I don't report anymore, not much. But you actually report, and that's what hurts because that's what requires the most investment, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that it's fair to say that radio and commentary has a natural value add regardless of the complaints of the era in a way that has yet to be borne out when we're talking about a large language model that is synthesizing a giant corpus and regurgitating information.
You don't think LLMs have value, have a practical, useful value?
I mean, I think they have a useful value in terms of the what we were talking about with your Emacs thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that it is the same I'm not sure that it's additive value. I think that they're really good data research.
Well, we're not additive value, are we? Maybe we are. I don't know.
I think we are additive value.
We add
that's
context.
Why people listen to this.
We try to explain it, but we're just basically a chat show.
Well, but the LLMs will summarize along, give you the TLDR so that you can get more substance out of it. You can query it and ask questions and understand it better. It can compare that to other. I'm devil's advocating here. It can compare one piece to others and find where there are similarities. It can translate it into other languages.
Would we have? Here's value. A thought experiment. If we didn't add value, would we have the right to exist, Paris?
Oh, I'm not sure that anything has the right to exist.
But I mean, if we were just, and I think you could make the case that we are,
view.
If we were just kind of rehashing the news and chewing on it and spitting it out, and if we were just doing that, not really adding anything of value, would we have a right to exist? Would we have a right to do that?
Yes, but no one would watch it, Leo.
Yeah, but no one would watch it. And also, the thing is, we're not asking for every single company and content producer in the world to give us their content for free because of our right to exist.
No, we are asking, though.
Difference.
We are,
we're paying them.
Sometimes.
Is the selection alone value?
It really killed me.
I
just had to buy a Financial Times subscription. It just pissed the hell out of me.
Oh,
but we use a lot of their stories. So yeah, but that's the thing is I'm paying for one subscription and then rehashing all that information that I pay the information for out to now. There's a couple of questions. Do we help the information or hurt the information by doing that? I justify it in my own mind by saying, well, I always credit Paris and the information. I always credit the source, hoping that I'm bringing some value to them, right? That somebody will go then chase it down. I doubt that brings much value. But what if I don't make it my goal when I get up in the morning. I've got to make sure I add value to the content we cover on the show today.
I think you do know that you want to make a good show that is in some way meaningful or valuable to listeners. Do you not?
What if I were Will Arnett and we just told jokes about it all the time?
But you're not Will Arnett. You very specifically
I wish I had Will Arnett's money.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there are plenty of podcasts that the news of the week is just grist for the comedy mill. Well, there's plenty of comedians that do that. I guess the value they add, though, is that you're laughing.
Is entertainment.
It's entertainment.
Is context, is perspective.
So now we can have a debate over does what we do here either entertaining or informative? It has to be one, right? We're not.
Hey, sound off in the comments. Are you entertained and or informed?
Well, that was the argument about radio. The newspaper people wanted to restrict radio to entertainment. They argued that radio was not an appropriate mechanism for people to learn things because we are eye-oriented, not ear-oriented.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Ear things are stupid, they said.
That's a
eye
classic.
Smart. Honest to God.
That's a classic incumbent argument, right? We're the only way that you could do that.
Stuff.
See, that's what I wonder, really. That's what I'm asking you as a historian isn't this always the argument of the incumbent that, they can't possibly do it as well as we do. You need to keep us alive. We need to continue. I would hate it.
I think the difference here is that, authors found new markets and figured things out with print. Publishers owned radio stations. Radio stations were in the same companies as television. Publishers ended up working with the R box. With the internet, they got left out. Now they tried. I was part of the beginnings of the New Century Network, which is going to have a structure for all newspapers in the country to work together, single sign-in, shared content, shared advertising sales. Would have been wonderful. What happened when Kleiner Perkins wanted to invest in it? Half the publishers said, we're not selling. We're too valuable for those Silicon Valley people. So they lost. Chicago Tribune invested a fortune in AOL and made a fortune. If AOL were still alive, Chicago Tribune would have a very different attitude about A, its survival, and B, the internet. If publishers had had a take of the internet, if they'd been part of it, if they'd figured that out, if the internet companies had been smart enough to involve them in some way, it wouldn't be a war. That's what happened with radio and TV. But they're left out.
So Anthony Nielsen says, well, you're talking about how the training is applied, but what about the training itself? I mean, and this is what Kathy Gellis is always saying, Leo, you have the right to read a newspaper and then to come on the air and talk about it. You have the right you have a First Amendment right to do that. I guess you could say, well, machines don't have First Amendment rights. But a machine is just an expression of a human or a company. It's a machine by itself has no rights, but it's
a broadcast tower has no rights.
Right,
but the
it's
radio
like a broadcast
company does
tower.
have rights.
Right.
Paris?
I think what I'm talking about when it comes to the rights is you are kind of predicating the arguments we often make on the show about AI. Your argument seems to be predicated on the fact that AI, quote unquote, has a right to read and consume as much content as possible so that it can be as smart and well-trained as it possibly can. And I'm not sure that it does have an innate right to that when the content being consumed is created by and owned by others.
Okay, I won't say right then.
A more nuanced conversation.
Yeah, I won't say right. You're right. That's probably not true. It's not a right. But it is in society's interest, I would say. And that's the whole point of copyright and patent and all that stuff, is that ultimately...
Or so they say.
Well, the founders, when they created this concept, the idea was person should be able to benefit from their creation, but ultimately it belongs to everyone. And everyone should be allowed to use it and build upon it. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole point of copyright, is not to keep it... I think we make a mistake when we say the point of copyright is to make sure that the creator gets money. It's not. It's to make sure that society gets access to it at some point.
Well, actually, you're right. There was a belief when the statute of Anne copyright came in 1710. There was an argument at the time that authors had a natural right to their work. This is a John Locke view. Out of the sweat of their brow, the fruit of their labor, that it was perpetual. So in comes copyright. And as I've said before, copyright was not invented for the authors. It was invented for the publishers so that they could then in turn resell. They could buy and resell this property. But then the publishers tried to say, we bought the natural right. So our copyright should now last in perpetuity.
Forever.
And the House of Lords said, no, guys. It ends when the statute says it ends. So actually copyright was not a granting of rights. It was a shrinking of rights.
Exactly. It was to say society should have access to that creation because for the good of society. And that's exactly the argument I'm making for AI, is this is because there will be a societal benefit to AI ingesting all that content. Speaking of John Locke, I'm tempted. I'm tempted to make his pancakes. Did you see?
Who says we don't add value?
This is a connection no AI would ever make. This is from a rarecooking.com. Apparently, this is John Locke's recipe for pancakes.
Where did you come up with this?
Apparently, in the Bodleian Library, there is a large collection of Locke's works, including this page, his recipe for pancakes. Now,
whoa, and how are they?
Apparently, they're quite good. The person who writes this article, let me give them full credit because Marissa Nicosia at rarecooking.com, cooking in the archives. Look at these are the pancakes. Now, there's one thing that's a little weird about this. Okay, take 3/4 of a pint of sweet cream, a quarter of a pound of flour, 4 eggs, but then Locke crosses out the 4 eggs, puts in 7, and adds leave out. Well, basically take the yolks out of 3, just whites of 4, and the full eggs of 3 more, and then beat them very well. He says for 15 minutes. Put in the flour.
I got nothing else to do. I don't have a phone to
you know
look
what?
at or
That
anything
is
else.
a different time.
I might as well beat the eggs.
This comes from the 18th century, right? Actually, the 17th century. The recipes are dated 1675 to 1694. So you beat it for 15 minutes. In those days, they had lots of time. There were no movies. There was no music.
Just time to beat pancakes for about 15 minutes.
What better thing could you do with your time?
Okay.
Yes.
Then you add the flour. You put in 6 spoonfuls of cream, beat it a little, which is probably only 10 minutes, right? And then you take new sweet butter. I love that. Half a pound. Half a pound. We've only got a quarter of a pound of flour. We got a half a pound of butter. You melt
He's
it.
correct.
You skim off. Is he right? He's right.
I think he is right.
Much more butter than flour. Just skim off the top of the melted flour, so you're basically clarifying it. You power in all the clear by degrees, beating it all the time. Then put in the rest of your cream, beat it well. Now, this is the thing where it goes a little weird. Okay, you've got your batter. Half a grated nutmeg. And by the way, nutmeg was really expensive in these days. It had to come all the way from nutmeg land.
John Locke was privileged.
He was very privileged. And a little orange flower water. Good luck getting orange flower water. Fry it without butter, of course, because you have half a pound of butter in the batter.
Yeah.
But Marissa cooked it, and they look quite good. They make 10 8-inch pancakes. And she says,
these look delicious.
Yeah, that's a lot of nutmeg. But, apparently it's okay. She says these pancakes make for a decadent breakfast.
No syrup mentioned? No,
they didn't. I think that Marissa did a drizzle of honey on top, but they don't. But John, it's unknown. By the way, she ate it
His
while reading.
His syrup preferences are unknown.
Yes,
yeah.
she read it while reading 2 treatises of government, so she had the full Locke experience.
That's probably why the nutmeg was there, because it wasn't sweetened.
Oh yeah, and nutmeg has a kind of a sweet. I put nutmeg in a lot of strange things. My spaghetti sauce has a little nutmeg in it. My mashed potatoes. What? Yeah, not much. You can't taste it. But it adds.
Then why
something.
do you put it in there if you can't taste it?
Because only he knows. It's a secret
That's
recipe.
true. It's just it's a secret between you and the
can
food.
taste it, but you don't know you're eating nutmeg. You taste something.
Just you like the idea of nutmeg.
You can taste. It's a subtle. I always wondered that about bay leaves. You always have to put bay leaves in your stews and soups, and it's like, does it really change the flavor or not? But
the thing is, most people's bay leaves have been sitting in their cabinet for like 18 years and are adding nothing.
Right.
If you got a fresh bay leaf, that's going to add some stuff.
And not California. We don't make good bay leaves. Turkish. Right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? All right. We're going to take a break. That was how I got to change the subject. It's John Locke's pancakes.
That was good. That was very
clever.
Hey?
An AI couldn't come up with that.
Don't tell me I don't add value.
That was a hallucination to mock them all, yeah.
Well, it was just serendipitous. You happened to mention John Locke, and I happened to have his pancake recipe to hand. Our show today brought to you by Miro. Oh, this is a tool you will want to have to hand. It's an incredible visual place that brings all your work together, all your innovations, all your ideas, all your thoughts, no matter where you're located, no matter where your team is, no matter what time zone they're in. Miro is as wide open as your mind. It can be anything you want it to, but they also have what they call capability bundles, 6 whole capability bundles. that are for specific areas like product development workflow or content visualization, all powered by Miro AI. And they use AI very nicely, whether it's to generate new ideas or to take the information on your Miro boards and summarize them. Miro connects seamlessly to all the platforms you're using. You don't have to abandon Jira or Confluence or Google Drive or Google Docs or Asana. We use it with Zapier. We use it with Slack. You don't have to leave Miro, though, to update these projects or statuses in any of these tools. You can do it in Miro. That's how nice the integration is. This is, in fact, so useful. Miro users report saving up to 80 hours per year because they streamline conversations. They cut down on meetings. They see all the most up-to-date information in one place. Miro has a new feature that's great for avoiding meetings. You want to make a comment or a suggestion or add some input to a board? They've got a video recording feature they call Talk Track. You can record your thoughts, leave them on the board. Don't schedule another meeting. You can all do this with your team, so they're all on the same page. It's really great. In fact, they're giving you 3 boards for free to start working better at Miro.com/podcast. So go try it for yourself. Your first 3 boards free, Miro.com/podcast. Miro.com/podcast. All right, John Locke's Pancakes.
Moment of suspense where we wonder, where is Leo going to go next? He spans
where
his
in the
whole world.
How about the rise, according to The Verge, the unsettling scourge, or is it scourge? How do you say it? Scourge? Scourge?
Scourge.
Scourge. It's that thing you beat yourself with. A scourge of obituary spam. So, as somebody who's worked in a newspaper, Jeff can fill us in on this, but I do believe there's a person responsible for obituaries.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, not only that, it's a huge revenue source for newspapers.
Why?
It's
People
almost
sell
their
ads against
entitlements.
obituaries?
Oh, the obituaries, they have hardly any editorial free obituaries.
Oh.
They're mostly paid. And
I see.
The funeral home gets a cut. It costs hundreds of dollars to put it in, but it's now people know that Uncle Joe died and they come to the viewing. And when the Star Ledger in New Jersey, the company I used to work for, was at fights with the Newark News, I think it was, the Star Ledger was going to die. Old Cy Newhouse said, I'm going to kill it. Young Donald Newhouse, his son, said, Pop, give me a chance. I'm going to save it. And he saved it by convincing all the funeral homes to run their obits in the Star Ledger. The Star Ledger lived, and there was an obit for the competition.
Wow.
To this day, there's huge business still in obits.
And there's apparently somebody who goes around collecting information, because I was reading an obituary the other day, I think it was in the New York Times, where it talked about the person who's deceased saying in an interview 10 years ago for his obituary, he told us.
The Times does that. The Times does that.
Yeah, the Times has a whole team dedicated to
that was so
reporting.
Bizarre. Did they call you up and say, hey, look, you're going to die. We'd like to get it straight, get the story straight.
Can you like that?
Yeah, I would.
You get a say?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'd be honored.
I mean, I don't know what person you're referring to in this example, but they have reporters who their job is to pre-write obituaries for famous people or notable figures. And part of that involves doing an interview process and actual reporting for the obituary if it's a high-profile enough subject. And then they kind of sit on that information until it becomes necessary.
Yes.
But this is how you end up getting situations where an obituary is written and bylined by a reporter that died like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Or the fact the person dies and immediately they've got 40 inches of type. They're called HFR, or hold for release. And you see it happen occasionally where it will accidentally go into print.
Wow.
When Princess Di and Prince Charles married, it was our closing day at People magazine. And I had to write a hold for release obit for them in case the Irish Republican Army had attacked the wedding.
Holy cow.
And we had different pages made up ready because it was press day in case that had happened.
Because that had just happened to Lord Mountbatten. So they had to be prepared for that.
And my editor-in-chief was Irish, so she said, something's going to happen.
Wow.
TV stations used to do this. I don't know if they still do this for actors and stuff like that. They have pre-made obituaries.
It's all ready. That's why they can get it up so fast. Well, now
Same
you
for
can
TV.
Now you can do an
put together
AI.
the video.
AI version. I guess because it's lucrative, right? I don't know. AI obituaries, writes Mia Sato in The Verge, litter search results, turning even private individuals into clickbait. And she leads, which is hysterical, with a story of a couple, Brian Vestag and Beth Mazer, whose friends were devastated to learn that the couple had suddenly died. Now, Beth had passed away, but the AI assumed that he did too, and announced that he was gone as well. It's a little weird they passed away on the same day. Brian Vestag says that the obituaries had this real-world impact where at least 4 people that I know of called our mutual friends and thought I had died with her, like we had a suicide pact or something. It caused extra distress to some of my friends, and that made me really angry. The Verge has identified.
Why are they making? How are the bad guys making money on this? That's what I don't get.
They have ads on the. Just like anybody makes money, they have ads on the page. The Verge identified over a dozen websites that published the news about his death, along with several YouTube videos of people reading obituaries from a script. Another way to do it: get the AI obituary, read it, and people will get hits if you say, "Oh, did he just die?" And Leo Laporte just die. Well, here's a story on YouTube. This is a mistake of me to say that. The sites have strange, unfamiliar names and maintain a constant stream of articles about a wide range of topics, including the death.
It's just like all the fake reviews.
It's more fake news, fake reviews.
So I just went to Gemini and I said, "Write my obituary. My name is Jeff Jarvis. I'm a journalist and educator." It comes back and says, "Unfortunately, I don't have enough information to write a comprehensive and respectful obituary for you, Jeff. To truly honor your life and achievements, I would need details about specific areas of your career and impact. However, I can offer a template you can use to create your own obituary or to share with someone you know well. In loving memory of Jeff Jarvis, journalist and educator, parenthesis, dates of birth and death, end parenthesis."
Well, ChatGPT
include a photo of yourself.
ChatGPT did not have such scruples. Leo Laporte, a pioneering broadcaster and tech journalist, widely celebrated for his instrumental role in demystifying technology for millions, passed away at the age of insert age on insert date. Born in November 1956 in New York City. Blah, 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 blah.
Carved a niche for himself as a charismatic. No, this is good.
This is good.
It's got all your stuff.
Laporte's legacy is not just the content he created,
Leo.
but in the community he built. His enthusiasm for tech. I'm going to start crying. He's survived by his family.
He'll be dearly missed, but his legacy will live on through the countless lives.
Well, wait a minute. In lieu of flowers, the family requests donations be made to insert charity name here. A cause close to Laporte's heart.
Twit.
Furthering education. They've even made up that there is some charity close to my heart, furthering education and access to technology for underserved communities. Let me copy this. This is fantastic.
He will be dearly missed, right? Right, Paris? We miss him already, don't we?
It's true. We miss him already.
I got like 10 paragraphs, baby. This is good. This is good. See, Jeff, you just, you gotta publish
you should
more.
You should get an AI. You should get one of those services to make an AI version of your voice, and then you can have AI Leo read the AI Leo obituary for you.
Before his rise to fame, Laporte's passion for technology was evident in his early career, where he spent time as a software developer and a professor teaching computer science.
Yep, you famous software developer and professor.
His transition to media was marked by his work with Tech TV, where he co-hosted the screensavers for solidifying his status as a tech media icon. I can't read this with a straight face, but that's pretty good. All I said was write the obituary for Leo Laporte.
A cemetery in Slovenia is now providing the option of a digital tombstone.
Oh, I've seen those.
I could also get you a digital tombstone if you give me 5 minutes and
a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
No, those have been around for a while. They have video of you on there, and I think there's even some that will do a hologram of you. maybe I'm imagining that. But help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Only it's you, and you're projected onto this grave, and you go, Hey. I don't know. What would you say, Paris, if you could have a hologram projected onto your gravesite?
I would probably be like, "Ooh, I'm a ghost."
Want to play skee ball? Wow. No, yeah. This is an NBC story from 6 years ago, Jeff. It does mention Slovenia, so yeah. Grad Harasovich. Well, anyway, so what are we saying? We're saying big deal that AIs are writing obituaries. It's just more spam, more SEO crap.
What this is going to mean, back to your value adding, is that you're going to have to find places that actually find real and good and credible stuff. And the internet is going to get ruined more and more and more at a general level, especially as places like the New York Times pull their content off of it and off of OpenAI. So I don't know what happens to finding the good stuff.
Oh, so spooky.
I love it. Oh my God, we saw Paris. According to The Verge,
Paris the friendly ghost.
Paris.
Come on,
ghost.
Joe Esposito, are you working?
Paris,
are you working?
the friendly ghost. Oh, Mia Sato writes in The Verge, obituary scraping is a common practice. Funeral homes have been dealing with obituary aggregator sites for at least 15 years. So just the fact that the AI is doing it now is not really... See, this is an example of... This is just bad human behavior that's been here for as long as the internet's been here, as long as the web has been here.
Yeah.
People are always going to use tools in unethical ways to enrich themselves at the expense of others.
Then you can argue
wait a minute. That's what your projection should say. Right there.
Oh, yeah. It should soberly say people are always going to use tools in unethical ways.
This is what I imagine Paris's version of the Kelsey meme, screaming at the coach. It'll just be saying that.
Oh, that became a meme immediately.
It was a great meme. Oh,
yeah.
Travis Kelsey of the Kansas City.
It had the same energy of Donald Trump yelling at that child with the lawnmower.
Yes.
Yep.
You know,
also the was it the drunken girl yelling into the guy?
Yeah, at the music festival. Yeah.
Do you think there's a way of knowing ahead of time that your behavior might become memed? Well, first of all, if you're on
if you're dating Taylor Swift, yes,
I guess so.
You can bet on it.
Yeah.
I think so because that podcast we mentioned a couple times in the show, Game of Roses, that coaches players to go on The Bachelor, something that they talk about a lot in their book and coaching materials is what they call face play, which is basically just making over-exaggerated faces and reactions in the hope that you get caught in the background of a scene and it becomes a meme, which does work quite well.
Oh, wow.
Do you do that?
I mean, I'm just have a naturally expressive face, so I've always thought that I would probably pop off on a reality show if I was ever on one.
You should just walk around behind people
can't
going,
control it. I do think I was destined to be kind of one of those people who wanders into the back of like a TV news segment and really ruins the shot.
The real trick is getting the editor to notice you. That's the real trick.
The editor?
Yeah, because it's an editor who's actually putting that together.
Yeah.
So it's getting the editor to notice you while he's really looking at the dailies. That's how you get on show.
So we have an example from Discord here.
Yes.
There's a reporter on the street. Ah!
Very funny.
Did you go up to the
Joe has already got a I've seen the Kelsey one. Oh, I get it.
Well, no. What Patrick Delahunty said about it.
Why haven't you joined Club Twin? Okay, we got to reuse that. That's a good one.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
We do have a club. It is a mere $7 a month. You get ad-free versions of all of our shows. You get a lot of extra content that we don't put out anywhere else, like the Hands on Macintosh show, Hands on Windows, the Untitled Linux show, Home Theater Geeks. We just did Stacy's book club, by the way. It was really fun. A grim book, but we're picking a new book right now. So if you are in the club, go to the Stacy's book club section and vote on the poll. There's a poll right there, next Stacy's book club poll, and we'll see what the book will be. There's one that's leading, but you can change it right now. We wanted to have a nice, happy book club next time. The point is that Club Twit is fun, But there's also another point to it. It's going forward, I think the most important way we're going to make this network survive. Ad dollars dwindling. They're going to influencers. They're going other places. And in a lot of cases, for some reason, companies have just stopped advertising. Over. Yeah, isn't that odd? I don't know why. But it means that we can't rely on advertising to keep doing what we do. We need to rely on our audience. I like that. I think that's a good way to go. I hope you do, too. We don't need everybody, but if only 1 in 10 of you subscribed, we wouldn't need advertising. We could add new shows. We could do a whole lot more. So I'm just asking that one person in the 10. Are you the one? twit.tv/clubtwit. Go there. Join the club. We would love to have you. Of course, the Discord is a great place to hang, too. We're going to come back with more in just a bit. Our show today brought to you by Collide. What do you call an endpoint security product that works perfectly? It does its job, but makes users miserable. It's a failure. The old approach to endpoint security, lock down employees' devices, roll out changes through forced restarts, but that just doesn't work. IT's miserable. They've got a mountain of support tickets. Employees are so unhappy they start using personal devices just to get their work done. And worst of all, the executives, the ones who sign the check, opt out the first time. It makes them late for a meeting. Truth is, you cannot have a successful security implementation unless you work with end users, and that's where Collide comes in. Their user-first device trust solution notifies users as soon as it detects an issue on their device and teaches them how to solve it without needing help from IT. That way, untrusted devices are blocked from authenticating, but users don't stay blocked. Collide, designed for companies with Okta, it works on Mac OS, Windows, Linux, mobile devices. If you have Okta and you're looking for a device trust solution that respects your team, visit collide.com/twig to watch a demo today. See how it works. That's KOLIDE.com/twig. We thank Collide so much for their support of the show. We're still in the AI segment, believe it or not. The Biden administration has named a director of the AI Safety Institute. Her name is Elizabeth Kelly. The AI Safety Institute at the National Institute for Standards and Technology is part of the Commerce Department. Kelly is currently an economic policy advisor for President Biden. She was one of the most important people in drafting the executive order that established the institute. So I guess logical that she'd get the job. I'm looking at the AP story about it. It does not. The only credentials it gives her, she a graduate of Yale Law School, worked at the Obama White House, and at Capital One. I don't know what she knows about AI.
What else do you need?
I guess, yeah. I guess it's good to have AI safety, in theory.
Well, this is an
you
interesting
sound
thing.
so hesitantly.
I don't. Well, I just don't know what
He doesn't want to slow down the acceleration. Paris.
You don't. Yeah, you gotta hit the gas.
There is a new species of birthing, my friends, and we need to midwife it into existence. Let us not assume that we are the end of the line, that we are the pinnacle, the peak, the best evolution has to offer. Clearly, we are not. And if something comes along that can take our place and do a better job, I think it behooves us to help.
Well, in all seriousness now,
I want that on my gravestone, like that.
California lawmaker named
It's
Scott
going to be a very
Wiener.
crowded gravestone if you put all that on it.
Well, he deserves a novel there, yes. Has proposed a landmark AI bill in California.
Oh, see, this worries me so much.
It does me too, because what it argues is that model companies would be required to test for all unsafe behavior before they train the model. You can't test. You can't possibly predict.
You don't know
everything that jerks will do.
Right.
There's just no way. But it is false comfort to think, well, it'll be made safe. My law made it safe for you, and nothing bad will happen with AI. And when it does, let's just sue the bastards.
Senate Bill 896. Christopher Dodd is its supporter. Or I'm sorry, I'm thinking of another Dodd, the Senator Dodd. This is Bill Dodd from Napa, just up the ways a piece. To ensure state agencies advance safeguards and consumer protections.
That's another one, I think.
This is the California AI Accountability Act. This is a different one?
This is called I think so.
Oh, my God. How many of them do we need?
There's 407 bills in 44 states.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Rapidly evolving. Everybody's jumping on this. A new bill from Senator Scott Wiener. Does it have a name? Companies will have to disclose their testing protocols. Okay, fine. And what guardrails they put in place to the California Department of Technology. If the tech causes critical harm, the state's attorney general can sue the company, which is always what it's about. But I read the bill, and it's almost funny because it marks, well, if it's a weapon of mass destruction, you can't do it. Well, okay, but how is this going to be one?
At least Wiener pays lip service to the value of AI. He says in his press release, large-scale artificial intelligence has the potential to produce an incredible range of benefits for Californians and our economy, from advances in medicine and climate science to improved wildfire forecasting and clean power development. But he also says it gives us an opportunity to apply hard lessons learned over the last decade, as we've seen the consequences of allowing the unchecked growth of new technology without understanding, evaluating, and mitigating the risks. I don't think that's, that's all reasonable. It comes down to the details, right? The devil's in the details.
Yeah. So it's basically, you should be able to predict everything bad that can be done with this. You should test it before you even train it. So what are you testing? The model doesn't exist really yet. And you should guarantee that it's not going to do anything bad. The model can be held liable for everything that's done with it. No more than Gutenberg should be held liable for everything that's been printed. Right. I know that we get to a guns kill people argument pretty soon, but it's a general tool that can do a lot of different things. Ergo, you can't predict. A gun is built to shoot a bullet and kill something.
Honestly,
AI is built to do God knows what.
Reading between the lines, I think this is Senator Wiener trying to defang Representative Assemblyman Dodd's proposal, because he's saying a lot of good things about AI. He's saying, but we got to be safe. And then he's saying the only systems that meet this bill's threshold of 10 to the 26th flops would cost over $100 million to train and would be substantially more powerful than any system that exists today. So I think what he's doing really is saying, we believe in safety. And he's setting up a straw man. Some massive.
We'll get there in a century.
Yeah, someday we're going to really have to worry. But in the meantime, this is good. Let's full speed ahead. That would be my guess of what he's up to here. Developers of these models must take basic precautions, but only a handful of extremely large AI developers. No new obligations for startups or customers of AI products. I think this is as bad as milquetoast as you can get, and I'm going to bet that this is more to defang the other bills and say, no, we care about safety.
Yeah.
Paris, does the information have a Washington correspondent?
No, we do not.
That's interesting, because I think there's going to be so much policy stuff around tech.
Yeah, this one's state level, but of course California's been the leader in privacy and other things.
Well, California is a nation,
and this is where all the AI stuff, a lot of the AI stuff, is happening. So. And finally, the University of Pennsylvania, is that Penn?
No. Well, yes, that's Penn.
That's so
Penn
confusing.
State is the state one.
Right.
University of Pennsylvania is the
Penn.
private one. I have a friend who went there for her master's degree, a very good friend of mine, and she didn't realize, she thought she was going to a state school. She arrived on campus and suddenly realized it was this is Ivy League. I got into Ivy League. How did that happen?
As somebody who spent a little bit of time in the Ivy League, I never really thought Penn belonged in those hallowed grounds.
You snobs. You snobs.
Anyway, Penn has introduced a AI degree, part of their School of Engineering for undergraduates, a Bachelor of Science degree in artificial intelligence. I think that's appropriate. It's computer science, but it's a specialty. By the way, electives include AI ethics and trustworthy AI. So if you're interested, you could, but you don't have to.
So I've not announced anything yet, but I'm going to be developing at a new school a program in the internet, AI, and humanities.
Oh, wait a minute.
So exciting.
So wait a minute. We need to write a new card for you.
You'll need a whole new card.
You gotta throw that out.
Are you a professor?
You gotta get a new chorus.
Do you have a chair? Is it endowed?
No. I won't be doing any of that.
Should we get a choral group to sing the praises of your endower? What do we need to do here to support you? That's great. At the new school.
Yeah.
That's in New York, right?
No. It's at a new school.
Oh, a new school, not the new
A
school.
new school, not the new school.
No, I have a faculty meeting on Friday.
Oh, you haven't met? You are now is undisclosed. The name of this school.
It's undisclosed. The name of this school. Yes.
Oh.
But I'm very excited about this.
Is it bigger than a bread box? Is it?
Yeah.
But
It's big.
and
It's
what will
not
you,
Leo, it's not Ivy League because I'm a man of the people.
a man of the people?
Wow.
No, in fact, that was one of the great things about the CUNY School of Journalism, Graduate School of Journalism. I think, didn't Craig make it possible that half the students there were there on a scholarship or were there for free?
He just gave another $10 million. Craig is incredibly generous and gave after the $20 million he gave when I brought him to the school, and Sarah Bartlett, the dean, who you met.
Yeah, I love Sarah. She was great. Where did she end up, by the way?
She's retired.
Retired, yeah.
She's doing a hyperlocal blog upstate in New York.
Oh, neat. Good for her.
But anyway, so yes, I'm working on that. So there was an op-ed today in the Times from an executive at LinkedIn, which makes this argument that basically says we don't need the technologists, we don't need the coders and the programmers. What we need is people who deal with people,
humans.
That's exactly why I'm starting this degree. The number one skill that is sought for across LinkedIn ads, he said, is communication.
Why, you could have written this piece from Manish Raman and Maria Flynn.
Right.
When your technical skills are eclipsed, your humanity will matter more than ever. They say we need better humans, not better AI.
True that.
And actually, better AI relies on better humans. It needs humans. I completely agree with it. It's not, because, and we've seen this. The tech bros have a unique bias that you see in gaming, you see in software, and you see in AI, and it really would be very valuable to get input from more than just the Silicon Valley mafia in this stuff. Good. So your school's going to do that?
When will you be able to announce more details about it?
I need to go to a meeting on Friday and see what's what. But I asked them whether it was okay to insert it in my book that's coming out in the fall. They said, yeah, by that time, sure. So it's in there.
So sometime between now and the fall.
Yes, I will say more.
Oh, this is good news. So you may have deorbited from one planet, but you've
orbited again.
You've reorbited another.
Yes. I'm sure there's a way to say that. You slingshot around the planet to go around the moon. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Joe,
but I'm not going to be full time.
Even better. That means we get more of you, right? What are you going to do with the rest of the time?
Are you going to have to move? Is it in the New York area?
It's in this area. Oh, isn't she the reporter? Look at this. Look what she's doing.
She's so good.
Is it this? Is it
She's
that?
so good. What are you going to do with the cats?
I'll tell you, Paris.
Actually, okay, here's a real admission. I think Jeff told me about this a while ago, but I've completely forgotten.
I think Jeff has talked about interviewing for this before.
I feel like I knew this.
Am
I wrong, Jeff? You told me, right?
Yeah.
And I did.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay, President Biden. It's all right.
One good thing about losing your mind is that everything's new and fresh and exciting.
Yes.
I'm not
really
jaded.
Beautiful.
It's really
You're
beautiful.
a fresh babe.
I'm a babe in the woods. Anyway, that's very good news. And I look forward to being able to reveal to the world.
And we'll talk about this kind of stuff lots of the show. This is exactly what we talk about.
Yeah, I think it's
great. What are
the
ethics of this? What are they?
Even Sam Altman says societal misalignments could cause AI danger. Oh, this is he's also speaking in the UAE here.
Boy, he looks like Zuckerberg on a bad day, doesn't he?
He does.
He looks like he's being held hostage in this video.
It's a little witness protection program. Yeah, I don't know him. I never knew him. He is speaking at the World Government Summit in Dubai. This was yesterday. Okay, this is a bad reporter question. Okay, Sam, what AI-related fear is keeping you up at night? That's a bad question.
This is a classic
like the worst
on-stage interview question.
So bad.
People
my
love
board
to
of
ask
directors tends to, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam says, I'm not that interested in the killer robots walking on the street direction of things going wrong. Yeah, I wouldn't be either if I were running a giant AI company. I'm much more interested in the very subtle societal misalignments where we just have these systems out in society and through no particular ill intention, things just go horribly wrong. Okay, now I'm not going to sleep. What does he mean by that? And what definition of horribly wrong?
Tescrial. It's all part of the Tescrial.
Oh, it's Tescrial. He also says generative AI has the potential to improve lives. I think we can raise the standard of living so incredibly much. If everybody has access to abundant amounts of really high-quality intelligence, they can use these tools to create whatever they want to do. Boy, this really is kind of a airy-fairy kind of vision for the future. I guess that goes to universal basic income and things like that. That's not encouraging, frankly. That's how he communicates his vision. Did you see? Speaking of Zuck, his takedown of the Vision Pro.
I did. It's interesting for what he has to say about a competitive product in his own, but it's also interesting because he's more media savvy in this than I've ever seen him. He's more relaxed.
That's funny because MG Siegler said he almost certainly avoided the advice of his PR department when he decided to make this. And the reason he said this is because I remember when Steve Ballmer laughed at the iPhone, he says, people remember those kinds of things long after. Mm-hmm. And if you're the kind of guy who comes on and says, you know, as Zuck said, we're just a better product, period. You know, there may be 10 years from now, people may remember that. He looks kind of okay here. The video was shot.
New hairdo.
See this guy across from him? He's wearing
that guy is shooting the video.
He's shooting the video.
That's very funny.
Except it's not exactly right. Some people pointed out that they're using a pass-through, which is not this is not the view the guy in the helmet is seeing. It's a high resolution pass through. It is the cameras on the helmet, but it doesn't. This is not what it looks like on the screens in the helmet because it has a higher quality pass through. So it's a little inaccurate to say this is what you see if you're wearing a Meta Quest. It's shot through their pass through, so it's a little higher quality. You know, his basic.
I do think it's interesting. Going off of what Micah had talked about last week when he was in the show, I feel like I've been seeing a lot more people on Twitter and elsewhere on social media talk about returning their Vision Pros because of it being uncomfortable. Which, I mean, I think is a issue that the Quest 3 doesn't have, at least to the same extent.
It's lighter.
Partially because of the lower price.
Yep.
It's lighter, but it also doesn't cost $3,500.
No, as Zuck says, it's 1/7 the cost. It's 100. He says it's like 118 grams lighter, which sounds like a lot until you realize it's
28
grams in an ounce, and it's at least from my cocaine days I remember that. And am I right though? 28 grams to an ounce. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you had an ounce of cocaine, you'd have 28 grams. Look, sometimes you got to have a party. No, I never bought cocaine in my life. I only did it once in college, and I didn't like it. So, anyway, Zuck says we're cheaper. This is also, he says we're open. And I don't know if that's exactly true. Is Meta open compared to what Apple is doing? I mean, certainly there's no question Apple is a walled garden. The Meta Quest works with Windows, I guess, so it works with Mac, I would assume.
Yeah, there's Steam games. You can play Steam games.
You can play Steam, so it's open.
You can't do that on the Apple.
You can't do that on the Apple. In fact, the real value of the Quest, if you ask me, is Steam.
Well, yeah, that's the only real killer app for VR is gaming.
It's gaming. Yeah. Somebody's saying we should make the title of the show 28 grams of cocaine is a lot.
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know either. That was not my
I was going to say, I think also there was a good show title suggestion earlier that was R.I.P. Leo. And I was like, wow, that would cause some confusion in the feed.
But the SEO would be through the roof. Problem is you can only do that once, right? Twice? Once it really happens.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you've already kind of spoiled it. So like, oh, not again. He died again.
Come on. How many times is this guy gonna die?
Really? Let's see. I'm gonna let you guys because do we want to do another TikTok tunnel?
Yeah, we got.
You don't have to. I put that in.
This is a new segment you're calling Paris bait.
That's me. I called it that.
Oh, okay.
Listen, it's also This Week in Tunnels. We've got an update from the TikTok tunnel girl. She says her Northern Virginia home project is moving along after, the permitting process is supposed to take at least another month, but she's working to get the permits for it and construction.
Where is she going with the tunnel?
Soon.
What's she doing? Where's she going?
She's going underneath her house to basically an area right behind there. I think some sort of like storm shelter situation. But she had to stop because after all the TikTok attention.
Yeah, you brought us that
the city
story.
Ordered her.
Yeah. And so apparently there is some desire for you to expand your tunneling to the tunnel
I've been getting a lot of requests to talk about the tunnel guy, who is Colin Furzy. I'm probably pronouncing his last name wrong.
That's a familiar name. Is he well-known?
He's kind of the hunk.
He's a YouTuber who's been digging a tunnel underneath his house and garden
without permission
for a while. He also briefly got shut down and then got permission, retrospective permission, and has continued to tunnel. He posts updates on his YouTube. Seems like he's putting in the tunneling work, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
why?
Good for him, I guess. I don't know. It's not on TikTok, so I can't watch it. It's a YouTube video.
So. This is a changelog. They have one changelog. Do it.
The Google changelog.
It's really sad. It's slim pickings.
Google's not doing much.
Part of it is, the changelog would be mostly Google's killing another project, another product. And I don't really want to make it the Google obituary. So, new mass Gmail rejections to start in April, Google says. So I think it was February 1 that Google said they were going to force all inbound mail to be using email authentication, SPF, DMARC, and DKIM. Maybe this is going to be in March. Google's confirmed April. It will start rejecting a percentage of non-compliant email traffic. So starting February, Gmail requiring the following for senders to send 5,000 or more messages. So this is it. If you're sending a lot of them, like a newsletter, you have to authenticate the outgoing email, avoid sending unwanted or unsolicited email, and make it easy for people to unsubscribe. So that's all. I think that's good. Yeah.
Seems good.
It's not everybody.
If somebody has an unsubscribe option, I just unsubscribe. If they don't, I report it as spam.
Yeah. So this is only applies to bulk mailers, and it does not apply to messages sent to Google Workspace accounts. So please spam Jeff.
He can't stop.
Yeah, another benefit.
All senders, including those using Google Workspace, must meet the requirements. It's just we're not going to protect Google Workspace users. Google One AI Premium. Now, we were talking about this earlier, so I think we kind of already did this. But for $20, you get Google One AI Premium, which includes Gemini Advanced and Gemini for Workspace, in addition to your other Google One offering.
Wait. Workspace? You can actually get AI for Workspace now, but you got to pay another $20 after I already pay you, Google?
And who knows whether it'll work for your messed up account, Jeff?
This is a rebrand of Duet AI. Includes features like help me write, organize,
help me mama,
help me write. For non-workspace users, these features have so far been free. Google started charging Jeff $30 a month last year. Okay. AI Premium is otherwise the same 2 terabyte premium plan that costs $10 a month. Oh, okay. So if you have a Google One $10 account, it'll be $20 if you want to add the premium AI. Get
20 total or 20 plus 10?
Google AI, Google One AI Premium.
Leo has
this is when we add value, folks.
Yeah, this
is the value
look at this
add.
value.
Gemini is also the name for Google Cloud customer.
Gemini is the name of the product. That's valuable. I believe in you, Leo. You've just got to retrieve the right information in response to the prompt.
Because you are AI, after all.
It's true.
Here it is. This is what I was looking for, a chart. Google One plans, basic $1.99 a month, standard, premium, and AI premium. So AI is everything in premium, and then for $10 more, you get the Gemini Advanced with the Ultra 1.0 model, plus Gemini in Gmail, Docs, and more. I am not going to pay for that, I don't think. I do pay for the premium Google One, mostly for the 2 terabyte storage. Also, premium video calling features and enhanced appointment scheduling. Yeah.
They're trying too hard.
They're trying too hard. I think because I know you got to get out of here, Jeff.
Jesus, yeah, but not for another half an hour.
Don't rush me, man. Where are you going?
Washington, D.C. for a meeting of the Center for News, Technology, and Innovation.
Do you take the Excella?
I will take the Excella down. I'll get there before the red line closes at midnight, I hope. Get to my hotel, go to the meeting, get on the 1 o'clock train tomorrow, and come back.
Oh, you're a mass transit man. I think that's cool. I wish we had trains.
I think it's very funny when Jeff originally was talking about how, oh, yeah, on this show, I'm going to have to do an early out. And I was like, oh, it's Valentine's Day, Jeff? Are you doing something with your wife?
So romantic.
He's like, no, I'm taking the train to D.C. at 7:30.
I'm getting out of town. That's doing something
Ferris,
for her.
This is what happens with age. I hate to tell you.
Do you want
You're
to
a nihilist already, so it's fine.
I wasn't going to do this. They're asking us to cover this in the club. The Waymo that was destroyed in San Francisco as, I guess, part of a protest.
Oh, yeah. What do you yeah, I didn't put that in because I thought it's the kind of story you wouldn't want to do.
You're exactly right. Mostly because I've been in mobs before, and mobs do dumb things because it's a mob mentality. It's not, you do things you would never do as an individual, and I think this is one of them. No one was in the driverless vehicle as it was surrounded and set on fire in Chinatown. There's a picture. It started when somebody jumped on the hood, smashed the windshield. It was about 9 o'clock at night, generating applause, according to The Verge, before a crowd formed around the car and covered it in spray paint, breaking its windows, ultimately setting it on fire. I mean, it's...
What sort of mobs have you been in before, Leo?
Oh, you know how it is. You go to Ibiza, they have a fog machine, and suddenly you're destroying cars. No, I had one vivid experience. I was in high school. I was in a Vietnam War protest, and it was a peaceful protest. We were marching, but then somebody started. Maybe there's a police car. Somebody started rocking it, and I really could sense that the mob had its own mind. That individuals in the mob probably would not have done this, but they started rocking the police car. I think they could easily have flipped it and burned it and done all these things. I got the hell out of there. I didn't, but it scared me, and I realized that people do things in large groups that they don't.
I covered after Dan White got off on the Twinkie defense for killing my friends George Moscone and Harvey Milk. I was covering what became a riot at San Francisco City Hall. The gay riot. An
understandable riot. Incredibly, I'd be incredibly angry. But this was not prompted by, it wasn't a protest about driverless vehicles or anything. But it just shows, I guess, that there are people in the world who are upset about driverless vehicles, angry about that, or does it represents big tech? It's the same
capitalism.
Thing. It's the same thing as people for a long time were vandalizing the Google bus, that would drive technology workers down to Google.
I mean, I think it also probably is, it's a sign of the growing class divide in a city like San Francisco, where like financial inequality is an omnipresent issue.
Yeah, and when I lived in San Francisco, like my commute home, I had to drive like every day, literally every day. I ended up behind one of these.
Really?
It was the worst.
Yeah, because they drive like grandmas.
They're grandmas.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Like every day, I was behind one of those.
Also, last week, a Waymo hit a cyclist. That probably didn't help, right? I have to say, extra points to Wes Davis of The Verge. It says a weekend editor. He decided in the last paragraph to wax philosophical. Vandalism and defacement are time-honored parts of the human experience, seen in subway cars in New York City or the walls of ancient destroyed city of Pompeii.
Oh, Jesus.
Tech companies have been forced to reckon with this inevitability as they deploy their equipment in public
Put the wine bottle
with
away.
impunity. Scooters get tossed into lakes. Cars are punched by pedestrians. And in some places, dockless bike share bikes are destroyed en masse. Finn.
Well, meanwhile, The Guardian worked with Mission Local to look at all the libertarian rich tech money that's going into San Francisco politics. It's going to get weirder yet in that city.
It is a weird, and yet I love San Francisco, as I know you do, Jeff.
I've loved it too.
It's a great
but
city.
You know what? When I left, I regretted it terribly, and I wanted to go back, and I tried to go back. In the end, I'm where I belong.
New Jersey?
Right, Paris?
No one belongs in New Jersey.
Well, close enough for jazz.
Jeff belongs in New Jersey.
What were you going to say, Paris? You started saying.
Oh, I was just saying one of my favorite blogs I did back in my blogging days is this article I wrote. I put it in the chat. In December 2017, someone covered this robot security guard in barbecue sauce and bullied it into submission. The lead of which is a robot security guard tasked with guarding the streets of San Francisco from the homeless has been put on administrative leave after it was found knocked over, covered in barbecue sauce, and wrapped in a tarp.
Well, are you surprised? Look at this thing. Oh, you wrote this for an intelligencer.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Early blog.
That's awesome. Did you see
blogging.
the excerpt from Kara Swisher's book in The Intelligencer this week?
I did. I did
what did
see
you
that.
think?
I thought
What do
Kara
you
really
think about
likes
Kara
Kara
Swisher?
Swisher.
I was going to say, I mean, that's my thoughts is Kara really knows and feels her own brand.
It was
Good for her, I guess.
It was just like, I mean, I know Kara, she's been on our shows. She wouldn't talk to me anymore, but she back in the day before she was famous. But it was kind of a tone deaf name dropping. And every picture was of Kara, like
Embracing a tech person.
Yes.
What she gets
like
accused of doing.
hugging a tech person, like clearly getting drinks or something with them. It was odd, but
it's an excerpt from her new book, which is coming out. The book, the title of the piece was "Over 3 decades, tech obliterated media, my front row seat to a slow-moving catastrophe." But it really is an ode to Kara Swisher.
Yeah.
All the people I know.
History as seen through Kara Swisher's eyes.
Here I am with Mark Cuban in 2001. Here I am with Sergey Brin in 2003.
Photos courtesy of Kara Swisher. So she's got.
Was she followed around by a photographer? Here I am with Jerry Yang in my trademark sunglasses in 2011. That's actually one thing I gleaned from this is that she when the trademark sunglasses actually began, which was exactly 2011. Because there they go. That's the Kara we know. Here's one that this is her with her wife, her ex-wife, Megan Smith, and Rupert Murdoch. Yes, and
the future is there, Rupert.
And there she is with a selfie
her
with
and
Mark
Zuckerberg taking a selfie.
And then my favorite one at the very end with Elon Musk at Tesla HQ.
Her putting her hand on Elon Musk,
like his
in
shoulders
what
a
seems
shelf.
to be an interview. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever touched anyone I've interviewed.
Yeah. My digital journey in media, she writes, has been a long one, and perhaps it's okay that we had to be destroyed or nearly so to become something else. What I am certain of is we don't have to yet be another meal for big tech to gobble up. They think they can eat media. My reply, bite me. Her the book Burn Book will be published by Simon & Schuster on February 27th.
Yeah.
But so there you go. You used to write for The Intelligencer, and now she's writing for The Intelligencer.
Now here she is.
She follows in your footsteps, Paris.
It was interesting. I watched the Super Bowl, of course, because our team was in it. It was a very sad game.
Yeah, sorry, Lisa.
And how did they do, Leo?
Don't talk about it. But the other thing you watch for is to kind of get the zeitgeist, because the ads on the Super Bowl, $7 million for half a minute, tell you a lot, especially since in years gone by, it was all about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, right? Didn't see one cryptocurrency ad.
No.
Apple, very famously, 40 years ago in 1984, announced the Macintosh in the Super Bowl. There were no Apple ads.
Yeah, I think Google had an ad last year.
Yeah, Google had an ad, I think, this year. They
had an ad, that's right, yeah.
They had one ad about...
It was a phone last year.
Yeah. And Microsoft had an ad showing you how you're going to use AI to put a football helmet on your cat. The tech industry was definitely... It's funny, I remember so well the first time I saw a .com ad on the Super Bowl, which was probably 20 years ago. It's probably
pets.com.
It probably was, yeah.
Bill Gross.
Yeah, the famous pets.com ad with the puppet.
Yeah, the talking dog. And that was a big deal. It was like, wow, the internet's really here. We're on the Super Bowl. And now it's just, what internet? What internet? No, there's no internet here. It's back to the beer and the horses and the dogs. There was a Pixel 8 ad on the Super Bowl. There was a Microsoft ad. There was an ad for Squarespace. Martin Scorsese starred in that one. It's funny because they spent a lot of money on those ads. It's really interesting. Yeah. Well, Monster.com might have been the first. Patrick Delahady used to work there. I think you're right. You were working at Monster.com. He says, boy, were we excited when that ad hit. It was a big deal. It's gone back a little bit, gone back to normal. Although there were a few AI ads. Not a lot, but a few AI ads.
There was a lot of ads targeting Gen X.
Was that it?
Yeah,
Maybe that's what it was.
All the people that were in it, all the references that were made, it's all Gen X.
It's all Gen X. Interesting. And what is Gen X? What years?
Born between 70 and 80.
Okay, so Paris is not. She's Gen.
No, she's
Alpha.
I mean,
she's
what does Paris consider herself?
I'm the cusp. Actually, it depends on what you ask, but I'm either Gen Z or millennial.
Yeah. So Gen X is the last generation before the millennials. Is that it?
Yeah.
You.
What are you, Benito?
Me, yeah.
Benito. That's how he knows this. So you knew who all those people were on stage.
Yeah, and all what the references were and all that stuff. And even all the musical performances, like Usher.
Yeah, Usher.
Usher
that was for you. And Alicia Keys and her, and yeah, that was for you.
What did you think of the show, of the halftime show, Benito?
It was cool. I loved her. Hers.
Her was the highlight,
yeah.
Right? And, well, Lil Jon was fun. He's a character. I don't know.
Sorry, Lisa. Sorry.
Yeah, we were very sad. By the way, it is kind of breaking news, but apparently there was a shooting at the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City today, and deepest. God. It
is terrible.
Just what is going on? What is going on?
This country is sick.
Humans are sick. Humans, we're just a mess. Just a mess. Occasion for great celebration, and senseless violence. It's very sad. All right, Benito, do I need to pause for the pause that refreshes? We're going to enjoy, all of us, Pepsi Cola, brought to you by Sprite. And did you notice that was one thing I thought was weird? Maybe this is aimed at you. There were at least 2 or 3 ads for Soda Pop. One in which it said it's back.
I don't remember.
Well, I mean, soda has been hit hard by Big Seltzer.
Yeah.
Big Seltzer? Really?
Big Seltzer. You go to the store, there's seltzer upon seltzer in the aisles. And soda's been relegated to a second or third class citizen.
Paris. I hate to say this, but I've got to correct you here because you're in Brooklyn. You've got to do it right.
Soda?
Seltzer.
Seltzer.
I can't appropriate seltzer culture. I have to know my place and say seltzer.
So Ice Spice was in an ad for a new soda called Starry. starry soda, and I guess they were making fun of. Was it Sprite or 7-Up? They were making fun of. It's very weird. Very weird. It's time to see other sodas. Like, don't drink soda. Just don't. Drink seltzer. It's much better for you.
Drink seltzer. And it's probably higher profit margins.
Yeah, because it's just water.
Companies that make it, because it's just water and bubbles.
It's just water. And then there was Poppy soda, which is, I think, seltzer.
It's, Big Poppy.
Big Poppy is going after Big Starry.
A probiotic soda. Those words should not go together.
Poppy is a prebiotic soda. It's a Shark Tank funded beverage company.
Oh, geez.
Soda. Wow. They had a minute-long ad. It's prebiotic. What does that mean?
Do you really call it soda pop, Leo?
No, just soda.
Only ironically.
Jeff, did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yes, I did. The whole thing.
Do you like sports, Jeff?
No.
Why did you watch, Jeff?
Taylor was on a lot.
Taylor was on 54 seconds.
I heard that there was. Wait a second. I heard that. Did you guys see Jack Dorsey wearing a knockoff Nirvana T-shirt that says Satoshi on it? That is what I've taken away from the Super Bowl.
Yes, and the funny thing is,
are you a sports fan, Paris?
Nope, didn't watch the Super Bowl this year, but I did have people over for a king cake party beforehand.
Oh,
that was lovely.
It's always good to not be a Super Bowl fan during the Super Bowl because you can get out and about. So the TV focuses on Jay-Z and Beyonce in the booth. Right, and they don't mention that bearded guy to Jay-Z's left. It's Jack Dorsey in a Satoshi. It's a knockoff of what? Pearl Jam? What is it? A knockoff? Nirvana.
I think it's a Nirvana shirt.
Knockoff. Wow.
And I think it's important that the expression on his face looks like he's been transported here against his will.
Not happy.
Yes. He looks confused and concerned by his surroundings.
And the broadcasters had no idea that was him. Oh, you know who else looked unhappy? Lady Gaga was so unhappy. There's Jay-Z, there's Beyonce, and wait a minute. No, forget Jay-Z and Beyonce. Who's that? They didn't, and I'm sitting there going, Jack Dorsey, and everybody's saying, no, that's Jay-Z. How could you make that mistake? No one knew. They didn't even mention it. They had no idea what they were looking at. I guess it shows you really that we are not all that important in the great scheme of things. No. Let us pause.
But we are entertaining and valuable.
Gosh darn it, we better be. We better be.
Add that value.
Oh, good piece just came out in the New Yorker. I liked Louis Menard. Oh no, we already covered that. Never mind. That was last month. Forget I said that. I thought it just broke.
No good pieces have come out in the New Yorker.
I thought that just No, nothing has happened in the New Yorker. We're going to take a little break, come back with your picks of the week. So prepare those, if you will. You're watching This Week in Google. Kicking it off with Paris's Gizmo.
Oh,
Gizmo, turn towards the camera.
It's a kitty.
Hi, Gizmo.
Hi, Gizmo.
There we go.
Oh, she's a sweetie.
Toy. Yeah.
She's very good.
Oh, she is just a sweetie.
She's living her best life.
Is she your pick of the week?
Gizmo's always my pick of the week. Gizmo's my Valentine.
Aww. Are we keeping you from anything on this Valentine's Eve?
No.
Oh,
You're keeping me from hanging out with Gizmo. I've recently learned that she's discovered that when I take a shower, it removes her scent from my head. So she will get up on my shoulders and rub her head all over my wet head so that I can
She's got to
smell,
show who owns you.
Mm-hmm,
she's your owner. All right, your pick.
My pick of the week is I've been really interested in this Instagram account called the Web Design Museum that posts regularly just screenshots of old websites from like the 90s and early 2000s. And I think it's just quite quaint. Like the first one they have up there on right now is YouTube in 2005. They have an old screenshot of what it used to look like to defragmenting drive scene.
Oh,
Windows
those were the
95.
days. Oh, yeah.
Man. Memories.
That's your whole day right there.
Oh, yeah.
But it was satisfying, right? As it came towards the end and it got it all organized, you just felt
your
like
computer got faster.
yeah, man, I've really fixed things now. That's
And if you go to the right, they've got a good one for Pepsi World. We should be making websites look like this. Pepsi World's in 1996.
That looks like something
beautiful.
I'd see in my VR.
This is kind of amazing because this is a big brand with a lot of money, big designers, and this is what they thought was good.
Well, you didn't
This
have
is
that
what
much
was-
resolution back then.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was 1996. People were getting really into like.
They also have
like this,
a button
like
that says,
Flash.
if traveling at speeds less than 22 kilobits per second, then jump on the low road. And there's a little button that says LR for the low bandwidth, the bandwidth impaired.
And this is already 1024 resolution.
Oh, God. This is
Getting
a
people to
great,
click.
great follow.
This is
Look
fun.
at all this. Oh, here's Windows Phone. I recognize that.
The Windows Phone in 2012.
Oh, boy.
God.
Here's Halo 2's website. These are big companies. They thought this looked good.
Well, it did at the time.
Did they?
At the time,
Did they?
people thought
We were
this
still
was
figuring out how the web design was supposed to work. So,
Yeah, but it doesn't look good. I mean, like,
well, it's because we're on high res. You're
Okay.
looking at it high too.
No. Aesthetically, my friend.
this
no.
is not.
This wouldn't look good.
No, but like the
in any
style of the
res.
times, though. It's
It
the
was,
style
I
of the
guess.
times.
I don't know. I will say I bought a lot of web design books from the early 90s, which I think I've talked about before on here. And this was like part of what they gave as like examples of cutting edge design.
Like these
for
backgrounds,
websites. None
you
of-
have to have a
none
wallpaper.
of them looked great.
And there was no WYSIWYG. Remember, this was all HTML.
Yeah. There's a young Taylor Swift with an even younger Justin Bieber. Wow.
There was good design. I'm going to go, my friend Joan Feeney ran, I'll put it in the Discord, Epicurious, and it started Epicurious when I was there. And there's an oral history here of Epicurious, and it was well designed. There was good design.
Here's
to be had.
Google. Google services. Oh, God. These are the worst.
Okay, and I've got one last thing, which is
Yes.
the thing that inspired me to put this as my pick of the week. I just put the link to the post in the chat. Is they posted this week a bunch of different early logos of Google in 1997, and I think they're quite quaint, and we should incorporate them into our
Ugly.
show.
And this is when Marissa Meyer was there, and everybody said, "Oh, you can really credit how good Google looks with Marissa for how good everything looks on
She
Google."
tested everything.
She tested it all. Oh boy. Yeah, it is
The god
visibly
of
low
A/B
res.
testing.
We've come a long way. Do you think though that 20 years from now we'll look at our websites and say, "Oh, I can't believe we thought that was good." Hey, stop showing my website from 20 years ago, okay?
Oh, I love it, Leo Phil.
This is 1997.
A sound effect of the week.
Yeah,
Cute.
it was a quack.
I love that you have a
Coded it
signature
himself.
on your website.
That's my actual. I still have that GIF in my folders somewhere. And then 284 accesses. Look at that since the day before.
All those hits, Leo.
The hit
you got
counter.
a lot of
That's
hits.
the hit counter. Look at that. Uh-oh. Why am I hearing myself? Is that me?
I don't know. That just started.
It's your past ghost coming back.
Did you join the Discord chat?
Turn it
or
on
something?
again. Ooh. My pick of the week is a little more modern. Get ready for Oh My Git. So nerdy. An open source
this is
game
so nerdy.
about learning how to use the source repository tool called Git. You see it on GitHub at GitLab, but you can actually run it yourself. And if you've always wanted to know how to use Git, you can actually play this game and learn. It's actually really good. It's done very well. It visualizes how a Git works. And by the end of it, you will know how to use all the
By
Git
the end of it, you'll
commands.
get.
You'll get Git. Get Gitted. It is at ohmygit.org. Jeff, your pick of the week.
So this is a heartwarming story that turns into a tragedy.
Oh.
If you go to line 138, you're going to see that the entry into the Eurovision Song Contest this year for Finland is Windows 95 Man, and you got to play the video from the beginning. You got to play the whole video from the beginning.
And this is this year's entry? This is
this year's entry. So you go back to the front of the video. You want to play that.
Now, you don't want to win the Eurovision Song Contest, because if you win, then you have to host it next year.
Host it. There we go. So this guy.
I think there's people.
Those pants just came in on a wire. He puts them on.
Honestly, this is a fit. I love it.
He's wearing a Windows 95
People are
t-shirt.
wearing that in Brooklyn.
He's got flares. He's spinning around.
It looks like he's going to set something on fire.
And then
someone is covered in cards, and
it looks like or blue Post-it
it's
notes.
Finland. I don't quite get it.
It looks like pieces of denim, strangely.
Do you think because
I
of
think
the
it's
things,
Post-it notes or something?
Is he going to
know.
fly in the air?
No, that's all he does. So this is charming. This is what we want. But then the follow-up is,
by the way,
line,
the name of the band is Escape, ESC.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so you've given us something even better.
No, it's sad. Go in the next line, which you have to use Google Translate for because it's in Finnish.
Yeah.
The artist named Windows 95 Man might not qualify for Eurovision.
Why?
Because it's a brand and the Eurovision rules won't happen.
And Microsoft might object.
Right. So Windows 95
So back to the drawing board.
No more.
Maybe he should be Linux Man instead.
That's why exactly. Bingo, Finland.
Finland, it's where it came from.
Yep.
All right. And then John has put in this is for the after show. Oh, I remember this.
Secret pick.
I remember this. Saturday Night Live, fake Tom Brokaw recording different outtakes for Gerald Ford's obituary, just in case. So they'd be ready to roll if President Ford should pass away. I've seen it. It's very funny. Hey, we're out of time. Jeff Jarvis has a train to catch. Paris Martineau has a date with her cat.
Efficiency.
It's true. Don't say it like that. That makes it sound sad.
And I'm gonna
it's
go
definitely
home
more
and
compelling than
pillow.
sitting on the train to D.C. I do want a full report next week on the vibes of the 7:30 p.m. Valentine's Day train from New York to D.C.
A lot of sad
I was
bachelors.
I had to go this morning.
interesting.
My wife's not feeling well, so I went to Whole Foods this morning, and I saw this string of men buying their roses for Valentine's Day.
It's like, buddy, time has passed.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Now I'm really feeling sad. Is there still time to get a Fanny Farmer box of chocolates? Maybe I have time. Jeff Jarvis is, for the moment, the director of the Town Knight Center Emeritus for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism.
Here we go, Paris. Newmark.
At the City University of Woo! Woo! You do that really well, Paris.
Oh, yeah, you have the right timbre.
You got that vibrato going there. Do you go,
yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's because I'm a practiced ghost.
Oh, maybe you are a ghost. Yeah.
You can't. You guys have never met me in person. You have no idea.
I have no idea.
Form.
I can't
She
believe
doesn't appear in a mirror. Or is that
I feel like we're old friends, and yet we have never. But that happens a lot with me.
It does.
Yeah, we do all this stuff virtually. I'm sure there are people at home feel the same way. It's that parasocial relationship, or as we call it, the parasocial.
The parasocial relationship. Yeah.
Jeff Jarvis is at Gutenberg
You've done it already.
parenthesis.com.
That too. Yes, thank you.
Oh, I got to say that.
Too.
Get the magazine book, which is really cool. The Gutenberg book, which is really cool. Stay there for other things, I guess. Is there other things there? Anything at the website? No, just the books.
No, that's it. Just promoting the books.
His blog is buzzmachine.com, so that's a good one to know. Paris Martineau writes for The Information. If you have a good tip for her, give her a message at Signal 267-797-8655. You won't be the first.
Really?
Yeah, she's been getting some good tips there. Thank you, Paris. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Leo.
Jeff. Have a safe trip.
Thank you for getting me out of here, boss. I can make it to D.C.
Thank you all for joining us. We do twig every Wednesday right after Windows Weekly, around about 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2200 UTC. You can watch us do it live on YouTube, youtube.com/twit. We start the stream exactly as the show starts, end it exactly as the show ends. Of course, members of the club can watch full-time in the Discord. That's one of the benefits. After the fact, you can download a copy of the show from our website, twit.tv/twig. You can also watch on YouTube. There's a whole YouTube channel dedicated to the videos from this show. Or subscribe in your favorite podcast player. You'll get it automatically that way the minute it's available. A very special shout out and thanks, not just to our sponsors, but to the people who make this possible, our club members at Club Twit. If you're not a member, twit.tv/club-twit. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye. And happy Valentine's Day for those of you who celebrate.
Hey, we should talk Linux. It's the operating system that runs the internet, but your game consoles, cell phones, and maybe even the machine on your desk. But you already knew all that. What you may not know is that Twit now has a show dedicated to it, the Untitled Linux Show. Whether you're a Linux pro, a burgeoning sysadmin, or just curious what the big deal is, you should join us on the Club Twit Discord every Saturday afternoon for news, analysis, and tips to sharpen your Linux skills. And then make sure you subscribe to the Club Twit exclusive Untitled Linux Show. Wait, you're not a Club Twit member yet? Well, go to twit.tv/clubtwit and sign up. Hope to see you there.